Okay, today we'll be doing 10-3, where we are adding and subtracting. So with these radicals, adding and subtracting, we're going to have to think about combining like terms in a really creative way. So what I want you to do is, again, on the side, let's list all the square numbers. It's going to be helpful to have these written as I start trying to break down my radicals. So what I want you to do is try to break down each of these as far as you can. And when I say break them down, try to find the biggest number less than the number, the radicand, the number under the radical sign, that divides into that radicand. So like 7, it doesn't really divide out. I'm stuck with the square root of 7. But when I see 63, the biggest number on this list that divides into 63 an even amount of times is 9, right? Because 9 times 7 is 63. And again, I'm using this rule where I can divide anything underneath a radical sign, I can divide to be its own separate radical signs like that. This is helpful because now, what is the square root of 9? 3 root 7. And this whole thing is being added to 9 root 7. And you're going to have to think about like terms and what like terms are. These are actually classified as like terms because it's two coefficients being multiplied by the same thing. Okay, this is no different than if I said I have 9x plus 3x. It's the same thing. It's just I have a really, really fancy x, and my x this time is the square root of 7. So my final answer for this problem is going to be 12 root 7. Okay, so that's how you do that one. Let's do a slightly more complicated one. So here's a second example. And again, what I'm going to try to do is break down each radical individually. So I look at the 6 and I say, okay, what divides into 6? The biggest number to choose from here on the right. And you know what, guys? I made a bad example. Let me try again. Let's try 8. Okay, try this one instead. So I figure out what divides into 8. Oh, well, it would be 4. And that would be 4 times 2. Each of those under a radical sign. So this is 2 square root of 2. So now this one, let's see, the biggest number that divides into that, 25 does. Oh, but there's an even bigger number, 100 does. Let's use the 100 because that's going to be the most simplified. So 100 times 2, and the square root of 100 is 10. And again, these are just really fancy like terms with those square roots of 2's. So the answer is 12 square root of 2. All right, see you tomorrow.